Today, I'm in Athens, Greece, and there is a lot to do here. Let's go take a look at some of the best attractions the city has to offer.
I'm a goddess that's in her prime. Superwoman, I am divine. Don't play with me, don't cross that line. I'm a goddess that's in her prime. I'm a goddess that's in her prime. Superwoman, I am divine. Don't play with me, don't cross that line. I'm a goddess that's in her prime.
Hello, y'all. I'm Miss World, also known as Casey, and my goal is to show you how to travel around the world in style and on a budget. Obviously, going to only free attractions when you travel is a great way to save money, but you will be missing out on some truly amazing places. So sometimes you do want to pay for cool attractions, but you only want to pay for them if they're really cool. So let's take a look at some of my favorite spots in Athens and how much visiting them is going to cost. Let's start with the ancient Agora. This was the first place I visited in Athens, and I've already done a dedicated video just to it, but it makes the list as one of the best, so I'm briefly mentioning it again. The Agora was the main marketplace for Athens, and admission to the ruin includes the museum, which is really nice. Everyone who was anyone in Athens, from Socrates to Alexander the Great, came to the Agora. I mean, not women. Obviously, they weren't really allowed here. But we are now, and admission is about $23 per person. The Agora and Museum is very lovely, and there's a large temple here that's remarkably intact, so there are some great photo ops here. The National Archaeological Museum is another attraction that I covered in its own video, but that's because this really is one of the best attractions in the city. Tickets are about $14 per person, which isn't too terrible considering that you can look at the actual Mask of Agamemnon once you're inside. Not to mention a whole lot of incredible ancient artifacts from all around Greece. The history here dates back to the earliest days of the Greek peninsula and the Greek islands. It's a gorgeous museum and very large, so you won't have trouble spending a couple hours walking around here. There's also a truly beautiful courtyard where there are Greek statues and beautiful trees, and it's just about as Greek as you can get, really. Greece is a culture that is famous for its art, so I highly recommend that you see the amazing artworks on display here. One of the places I was most excited about, and one of the truly unique historical sites in Greece, is Keramikos. It's somewhat set apart from all the big attractions around Athens, closer to the areas of Greece where the locals live. There are fewer hotels out here and lots more affordable shopping, FYI. At least there is once you get off of Ermo Street, which leads to Keramikos. This is the beginning of your journey to the underworld. In Greek history, Keramikos was where you would come to study the mysteries. Not much is known about this, even by today's leading Greek scholars, because, well, it was all quite mysterious. The path to the underworld is fraught with secrets. The journey would begin here at Keramikos and lead you up the coastline to another Greek city many miles away. It's really very fascinating, and you can learn more about it at the truly beautiful museum that's on site. Admission to the museum is free with your admission to the site, and it's well worth it. The museum is small, but extremely well designed and beautiful. This was one of my favorite places in Athens, and it had a lot of meaning for me. I really do recommend it. But be sure to bring sun protection because there aren't a lot of trees around and it's a bright, sunny area. Admission to Keramikos is about $9 per person, which is really reasonable. Watch my video about visiting Athens on a budget for tips on how you can potentially defray that cost. Nothing in Athens will ever be more famous or more visited than, of course, the Acropolis and the Parthenon. They're a package deal because if you go up on the Acropolis, you're going to see the Parthenon. Visiting the set will cost you around $42, which, yes, is quite high. However, there are ways to see it for free, and I encourage you to watch my budget video because I break it all down there. Either way, obviously you should visit the Parthenon when you're in Athens. It's one of the most famous buildings in the world. Watch my video for advice on cheap food, save a little money, and definitely go up on the Acropolis because you'll regret it if you don't. I would also suggest swinging through the museum at the bottom of the hill before you leave this famous site. The Acropolis Museum is one of the most visited and most beautiful museums on the entire planet, which is a pretty decent claim to fame. You can see many items from the Acropolis here, which means you'll see breathtaking carvings and statues, pottery, murals, and really amazing stuff. I also did an entire video about the museum where I talk all about how the history of Greece actually ended up over in London. It's a whole thing, and you should check out the video for more. The Acropolis Museum is a great experience, and I do recommend it, even with ticket prices at over $23 per person. Because I'm giving you ticket amounts in US dollars and not in euros, I can't be more precise. The exchange rate between the euro and the dollar fluctuates on a daily basis due to stuff like the global stock market and the values of currency and many other economic issues that I do not fully understand and definitely cannot adequately explain. So I'm afraid all prices are approximate depending on what's going on with the US economy on any given day. And these days, that's pretty much a roll of the dice at this point. So all prices are subject to change. I think everything is subject to change as far as the United States goes. What won't change, however, is that Greek food is always delicious. Obviously, that was an awesome transition between topics, and I'm not going to change it because it's great. Greek food. There's a ton of stuff to try here, and Athens happens to be a great street food city. Sidewalk cafes, food vendors, little restaurants owned by generations of the same family for over 100 years, bakeries, coffee shops. You can find it all here, and it's absolutely fine if you don't speak Greek and they don't speak English. Point to what you want, and Greek hospitality will take care of most of the rest. It doesn't matter what you're eating, really. Be brave and try things. You've got really good odds of finding something delicious because meal preparation and food is very important here. They use really old techniques and they've been working with these flavors for literally thousands of years, so they've pretty much figured out how to make some good tasting stuff. Look at what other people are eating. If it looks good, get it. Just embrace the food because it's amazing. They want to feed you here. They want you to spend money at their place, so they are going to work with you and welcome you and help you pick out whatever you want. It's a great place, really, and the locals are typically extremely kind and welcoming, unless you're sick. That's a topic for another video. But the food is absolutely delicious, and honestly, in all seriousness, you could come to Greece just to eat food and shop, and you're going to have the most amazing vacation. You can literally not go to a single museum or historical site, and you're still going to have an awesome time because the city is full of sunshine and color and life and beauty. There's music everywhere. There's art everywhere. There are ruins and ancient stuff literally on the street. Okay, it's right on the street. While I was in Athens, a whole brand new historically ancient place had only recently been discovered, and they were working on digging it up to find out what it was. Meanwhile, it was totally accessible and easy to walk around in more than one ancient area of the city for free, and randomly, near the National Gardens, there was another historic site where they were apparently digging stuff up, and you could look right down into it from the street. It's like nothing you've ever seen, seriously. There are also some really amazing free attractions here. Syntagma Square is the heart of the city, and it's where you could see the Athens changing of the guard, which is a very interesting and important ceremony that has a lot of meaning behind it. The changing of the guard happens regularly in Athens. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is in front of the Parliament building in the square, which was once the royal palace. The palace was built by King Otto in 1834, but due to several fires within the building, it was not suitable for royal living. Today, the Tomb of the Soldier represents the Greek soldiers who died during the many wars that have come to Greece in the past. This is where you can see the changing of the guard every hour. Yes, it happens every hour on the hour. However, you can only see the really big changing of the guard ceremony on Sunday at 11 a.m. This is when the really huge crowds gather, and you definitely need to show up super early. I got here early, and I literally couldn't see anything. So I'm sorry I don't have better footage and stuff to show you, but I couldn't see anything at all. This is the only ceremony when the guards wear the historical costume, which is what makes it worth seeing. The full costume is really quite impressive, and it's highly symbolic. The uniform is based on those worn by soldiers during the War of Independence against the Ottomans, waged in 1821. It is said that the skirt of the uniform has 400 folds, which represent the 400 years of oppression the Greeks endured while under Ottoman occupation. King Otto himself established this uniform and wore it during state occasions and important appearances. The uniform includes the Greek kilt, which requires almost 100 feet of fabric per skirt, 2 socks on each leg with leather belts that hold the socks, and red leather shoes, which are traditional. Each shoe is quite heavy, weighing over 6.5 pounds. That's more than 13 pounds of shoes. Talk about being a soldier. The guards all carry shotgun, which are incredibly difficult to carry because they are heavy. It's definitely something to see, and it's one of the many things you can see for free here. So it is very possible to be very budget friendly in Athens, but there are some really amazing paid attractions you definitely do not want to miss. I suggest a mix of both free and paid attractions to get the most out of your trip. But whatever you do, have fun doing it. Try new things, and don't forget to look around and notice the beauty of Athens every once in a while. Subscribe to the channel to learn more about my trip to Athens and to keep traveling with me all around the world. Thank you for watching, and thank you for taking the journey with me. Now, Voyager, sail forth to seek and find.